Chris hit us up. He said, why do people just assume Ohio State can win a national title every year? My answer is because they can win a national title every year.
Lay hold of it. You lay hold of it. And when that thing tells you to quit, you look at it in his eye and say, I ain't going nowhere. I will break you before you break me. You will not defeat me. You will not destroy me. Some of you are so ignorant. You've been through so much hell. You gonna quit now? You should have quit 10 years ago. You should have been quit. You don't quit now. It's the 10th round. You got 2 more to go. And when you get to success, it's not about skill. When you get to a certain level of success, it's about stamina. It's about stamina. It's about you won't break me. You can't take me. It's too late now. It's too late. You should have broke me a long time ago. I'm unbreakable now. The only chance at this point is you gotta kill me. And you gotta kill me now. And then when you kill me, my legacy will live.
Welcome into the Voice of College Football Ohio State channel. We are here talking about a 20-13 win for the Ohio State Buckeyes. And also we'll be sure to mention the record breaker of the day, Jeremiah J.J. Smith, who broke Chris Carter's 40-year-old freshman receiving yards record in a season. He still has one more touchdown to go to break the touchdown portion of the record, but it was really, really cool to see him do that. And as always, I'm here with my guy Mike to break it all down. Mike, what were you feeling watching that game? I know the start was a little troublesome. Just what were you feeling watching that game?
Oh, man, nervous the whole time, man. I was nervous the entire time watching that game. But, glad that the Buckeyes could pull it off. My Saturday is better because of it.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, we got people in the chat already saying, finally, go Bucks. I agree. Defense and O-line, get the game ball. Penn State, their defense actually outscores their offense in this one. The defense had the pick 6, and the offense only scored 6 points overall. And, yeah, that O-line looked completely different in this one. Donovan Jackson still struggled with Abdul Carter on the edge, but, I don't know. There aren't very many tackles in the country that aren't going to struggle with him, so a great effort by him. But, overall, let's start with the O-line here, Mike. The O-line coming out, Carson Hinsman is at left guard. We haven't seen Carson Hinsman all season. It's like the guy had vanished. It's like he was still suspended from that podcast that he did. We see him come out in this one, and he is a rock, man. The dude was juiced. He was fired up after that QB sneak that got like 5 yards on the goal line. You see him pumping his fists and everything. I love to see the juice. Carson Hinsman was ready for this one.
Yeah, definitely, man. Carson Hinsman. And, we've been wondering, why haven't we seen him, right? Like, we could have used him in the Missouri game. And, I always felt that Carson Hinsman last year had played a little too early, right? We weren't even expecting Luke Weipler to leave. That was a surprise to us. And he was thrust in there. He just needed another year of development. And like you said, we've been wondering, where is this guy at? But when we need him the most, man, he stepped up big time. We was wondering, is it going to be Austin Saraville? Like, who is it going to be? And, shout out to him, bro. Stepped up in a major, major way.
Yes, he did. Now, Will Howard was sacked 3 times in this game, so the pass protection wasn't exactly perfect. But like I said, 2 of those coming from Abdul Carter against Donovan Jackson. There on the side, Donovan Jackson held up well, and I liked what they were doing with the tight ends and the running backs. I felt like this was this is probably going to be an under talked about part of this game, is how well the tight ends and running backs were executing the chipping and what they were able to do for not just Donovan Jackson but other guys as well. Quinshon Judkins comes up with the huge block on the quarterback sweep there toward the end of the game that the broadcast pointed out. Just an overall effort. We were praising the wide receivers at the beginning of the game the beginning of the season for their blocking. We got to just give overall props, everything to all these guys going out there, hitting the guy in front of them. they were not going to be hit back.
Yeah, man. This definitely looked like a different Buckeye team. Obviously, they've been hearing everything that's been said out there about them because they definitely came out with some physicality. And, last night I was in the Buckeye group, man, and I'm just like sitting here thinking, I'm like, okay, you got two massive guards on that left side, bruh. And, Abdul Carter, he's a great pass rusher. But I think his weakness has been in the run game, right?
Yep.
Like, that was my whole thing. Lean on him. Lean on that run game, and we were able to do that, man. I just can't say, how much it was good to see this team out there being physical, man. And the goal line stop. Oh, my goodness, man. Tyleek goes down, and this was the one time I could say, it felt like next man up mentality where, we can go up there and get that. And K. McDonald stepped in, did his part, man. That's another thing. The D-line rotation was a whole lot better this game.
Yeah, and I think you saw it throughout the game with how fresh guys were. I mean, they were getting to Drew Aller. They were getting to him. Now, they weren't always finishing. They
Right.
were either running by him and stuff like that. But, I mean, you saw them get to Drew Aller and make him uncomfortable more than you saw against Dylan Gabriel just 3 weeks ago. Now, Caden McDonald, I mean, man, he made that huge stop against Nebraska last week. So even if Tyleek was available, I still would have wanted to see Caden in there, and we did see him, and thank goodness we did because, man, Caden McDonald, I guess that's just what he practices all the time in practice or something, is goal line stands, because that guy's in the game. I'm feeling confident now against anybody we go up against.
Yeah, I was texting my friend. He's not a Buckeye fan, but he is a fan of K-Mac. He's been following K-Mac for some time now. And so I was like, hey, our starting D tackle went down, man. I think they about to put K-Mac in. You might want to flip on the TV, and then you get to see that goal line stop. So K-Mac definitely got fans, even outside the fan base, man. So just hope he can continue to shine in those game reps. That is going to be huge, and that confidence boost is going to be huge for this defense as well.
That's the thing, right? I mean, Buckeye Nation, we're gonna get upset when guys don't play up to their abilities and stuff like that, right? But when you got a guy like Caden McDonald, who's not getting the most snaps in the world, but he comes in at the right time and he makes the stop, he does what he's supposed to do. That's the thing about Buckeye Nation. We're gonna give you your flowers all day long for that kind of stuff, especially there in the trenches. Also on that goal line, you had Lathan Ransom covering Tyler Warren. That was spectacular coverage on his part. You also had Caleb Downs covering the other tight end in the back of the end zone. I mean, Drew Aller just had nowhere to go. The coverage was good. The trenches were blocked up. He wasn't going to be able to go anywhere. It was elite defense there on the goal line, and it's honestly, I'd say that goal line stand was what got Ohio State the win.
Yeah, I agree, man. Definitely, because right there, you already knew that they were going to have to go for it. Being down 7 points, they were going to have to try to do something. And what have we been saying? We've been worried. Hey, Ohio State is not good in short down distance, man. On defense, we just haven't been. But you saw it last week in the Nebraska game, and everybody was like, but it's just Nebraska. That's not what I took from that. Like I believe me and you talked about on the show was that's confidence that you can build on as well. So I mean, and you saw they felt they had the confidence and they handled it. And then also, I want to say the DBs good in coverage, right? They've been showing you run. Now they hit you with the pass. You weren't full. Tyler Warren was completely bottled up. So man, I'm loving it. Jim knows you're cooking.
He did a great job this game, and there was some blitzes that he brought that, I mean, just confused the crap out of Penn State's offensive line. The one time I shouldn't say the one time, he did it other times, but he dropped Jack Sawyer back into coverage against the running back on that one play, and that completely took him away. That was very nice to see. So we didn't quite get the aggression out of the defense that we saw in the Nebraska game, I felt like, but we did get to see a lot of the experimentation with different blitz packages and stuff like that. We got to see a lot more rotation on the defensive line, like you pointed out there. And I think at the end of the day, like, this is what we wanted to see, and this is why Penn State only scores 6 points. I mean, Ohio State's offense, let's be honest, they were not great in the game. I don't think it was so much a Chip Kelly thing. I mean, honestly, if we're going to put the blame on anybody, the blame probably goes more on Will Howard's shoulders than anybody else, which is crazy because in the Oregon game, he was the one keeping the Buckeyes going with the game on his shoulders. So,
yeah. This game could have really been like it's really crazy because this game could have been really out of hand early. You know, like the Buckeyes could have put them away early. But like you said, and to be honest, I won't even just say that it was, you know, just Will Howard, right? Like there were some areas where I felt like we could have blocked better, right? I think that also, you know, the coaching staff, I know our coaching staff likes to experiment for some reason, and they were like, hey, let's just see if Donnie can hold up one-on-one, you know, against. But I just feel like sometimes, you know, like, but you know, before we wore down on them, that's when you wear down on Abdul Carter and their edges, that's when I was like, okay, you get them in, you know, one-on-one. That's when I was expecting our offense to do that. I was expecting to see chips, you know, like a chip block and things like that. But if you don't have that, if you know, you learn from this and you take that, and Will Howard just doesn't throw the interception, JJ doesn't think that the ball's going to be underthrown or whatever and stops, you know, he catches that. And we clean up those vertical routes. I mean, because Carnell Tate, when you hit him in stride, that's a touchdown as well. There's a lot of points and a lot of yards that, you know, we left on the field. But shout out to the defense saying, hey, you can put the game in our hands and we'll get you the ball back. One thing that I'm very, very impressed on is getting the stops on third downs, JR. That was huge. That was huge. That was something like we got to talk about that for the defense. We got to give them their credit because that was huge.
3 of 11 on third down for Penn State. They were 1 for 2 on fourth down, that one being the stop on the goal line. Their overall total yards, Penn State only gets 270 total yards. I mean, let's be honest, this is what Nebraska did to Ohio State last week, right? They couldn't convert on third down, and Penn State ran the ball a little bit better. But look at where the running game came from. Penn State, their leading rusher was Tyler Warren, 3 carries for 47 yards. Drew Aller was next, 10 carries for 31 yards. So that is the difference between Ohio State, Nebraska last week. But look at the dual running backs. Katron Allen, Fat Man, I guess is his nickname. I didn't realize that. That's a hilarious nickname. 12 for 27 yards, and then Nicholas Singleton, 6 for 15 yards. Both of them were 2.5 yards per carry or worse. I mean, like, you can't ask for a better performance by your defense to come out, do that, get the goal line stop. Jim Knowles was in his bag, and he was stopping them whenever they needed the big stops.
Yeah, and I mean, definitely credit to Jim Knowles on that because, you know, it looks like we're bringing pressure, right? We're not allowing guys to just sit there or whatever. Hey, we'll take your scramble every now and again. And I do hope that sometimes, you know, especially if we're going to go up against a team that's going to use their quarterback in the running game, we use a spy a little bit more. But I have no complaints in what we did. We were like, hey, we'll give this up, but we're going to get our stop. So.
Yeah, it was huge. It was huge. Ohio State on third down was 6 for 13, 1 for 1 on fourth down. I mean, overall, you just look at the two offenses. Ohio State, they could have been better. They had the missed deep ball to Jeremiah Smith. They had the fumble at the goal line of Will Howard. I felt like this was a game where, honestly, Ohio State, with that defensive effort and how Ohio State was moving the ball, probably could have won this one by 2 scores, if not more. Did you feel the same, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I mean, that's what I was saying earlier. Like, this game could have really got out of hand very early in this game, you know, if Ohio State just gets out their own way. And that's what we've been seeing, like, this whole season, you know. Like, why we are leaving points and yards and all of this on the field is we get in our own way, right? Once we
Right.
stop doing that and we're clicking on all cylinders, I think that this Buckeye team can definitely be explosive, man. But again, we gotta make sure that when we take those shots down the field, we have to hit on those. We cannot continue to miss on those.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Ohio State in this one, looking at their running backs versus the Penn State ones. Quinshon Judkins, 14 carries, 95 yards. Trevion Henderson, 10 carries for 54 yards. That puts both running backs over 5 yards per carry. Trevion Henderson at 5.4. Quinshon Judkins, 6.8. I mean, like, this is how you're going to win in November, right? You're going to put together a game plan where you're going to be able to run the ball. Maybe your quarterback makes a few mistakes here and there, but if you can run the ball, you can hold on to the ball against the other team, you're going to do pretty doggone well. Ohio State wins the time of possession 31 minutes, 23 seconds to Penn State's 28 minutes and 31 seconds. Overall, I mean, definitely could have done some things better, but when you're looking for a winning formula in November, the Buckeyes gave it to you today.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you're looking for. And that this is what everybody has questioned about Ryan Day, and questioned about Jim Knowles, not getting stops in the fourth quarter, not forcing teams to punt in the fourth quarter. So I mean, did they not answer the bell? You could say, hey, Nebraska, it is Nebraska, but Penn State, what do they always have? A good front seven. So to see our offensive line, our makeshift offensive line, being able to lean on them guys. And I mean, if they come with that type of intensity and continue to build. And I wanted to ask you this because I was thinking, I'm going to ask JR this. Do you think that they bring Zen Mahalski in to play the left tackle when he gets a little bit healthier? Or do you think that they should continue to build on this offensive line that they had? Because honestly, it just looked like the chemistry, and the more they played and the more the game kept going, the better they looked. Would you change that?
I think you got to stick with what you got. I mean, I hate to give up on Zen so quick, but you can't rush him back, number one. And so if he's not completely ready, Donovan Jackson did well enough out there. And number two, like, I feel like Donovan Jackson did better than I would have saw Zen Mikulski doing. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, like, you pointed it out, and I didn't even think about that. You basically got two guards on the left side or the right side of the offensive line right now. So if we're being honest, like, just keep running behind those guys. And honestly, Josh Fryer and Tegra over there, they're not much different. Just keep running behind those guys and get the ball out quick enough. You're not going to have to worry as much about pass protection. I'll tell you what, I'm going to put a poll in the chat, and you guys tell me. It's going to be either stick with the O-line we saw today or move on to Zen. Let me know what you guys think.
Yeah, man.
What do you think, Mike? What do you think they should do?
Stick with what you got. You got to build on that. The fire that you saw Donovan Jackson coming off the field, when they had the TV on him, that fire, that intensity, you have to continue to build on that. And also, Donnie, is anybody not in your camp telling you, hey, you just upped your draft stock, buddy? You just upped your draft stock, buddy. Yeah, because I don't think people understand when you get to the next level how many offensive linemen they travel with. And yeah, when a tackle goes down, sometimes they gonna have to lean on a guard. We're seeing it now in the NFL. He just upped his draft stock right there. So I think he should continue to build on it. I know that there was rumors talking about he didn't want to do it because he, worried about the future. But no, build on this. And I think that there are areas where he can get better at, right? But how do you get better? Reps. So I think as long as you continue to give this guy reps, because he knows what he's doing, he's been in this, he's been playing college football for a very long time, right? I think he can only get better.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's just making himself look better to NFL scouts right
And
now. And let's be honest, like if you're a guard, you're not going first round in the NFL draft. It's going to be hard to go second round in the NFL draft,
and
right?
and yeah, and who are you going to see that's as top as Abdul Carter until maybe what, the Team Up North game? So
Yeah,
it's practice reps for the rest of the game.
yeah,
And you just keep leaning on people, and then after you done weigh down on them and they tired, then that's when you go ahead and you start leaving a one-on-one and things like that. Don't got to worry about the chip, bro. But I think that you keep doing that and building his confidence there, and then when you do get maybe to the Team Up North game and you possibly make it to the Big Ten championship, right? You can end up leaving him one-on-one. Why? Because he has that experience, the college experience of a left tackle now.
totally. Our poll, we got some votes. We got the people saying stick with the O-line today. In fact, our guy Day 1K says anyone who votes for Zen is just a Michigan fan. So
Yeah, I
that's
see
me up there.
that. Yeah.
Those won't be in the chat today. Number one, we got a top 10 win or top 5 win. Number two, they're playing right now, and I haven't even checked in on that game yet. I don't know how that game's going for them.
What?
It looks like it might be tied, but Oregon looks like they might be driving right now. I'm not seeing where they're. Oh, they're on the other side of the 50. So, yeah, tied right now, 0-0. But we'll see if Dylan Gabriel and Oregon, yeah, they just got another big pass play. Both quarterbacks are out for the Team Up North today. I don't think it's going to be a very good day for their secondary.
Hold on.
What?
Both quarterbacks are out for the. You said corner. Oh, I thought you
Yeah.
said corner. Okay.
Yeah. Jair Hill and Will Johnson are both out. Sidetrack really fast. We'll get back to the Ohio State game in a second. Do you think Will Johnson is sitting right now because he knows his draft stock's just going to get worse if he keeps playing? Or
Yep. Yep. 1000%. Because if you wasn't gonna say it, I dang sure was. Because I think that's exactly what's happening, bro. And honestly, I think he's been contemplating playing the rest of the season anyways, right? Like, what is he playing for? You know, and what did Team Up North fans say? Oh, y'all soft. Marvin Harrison not playing. Kyle soft. He left y'all. All of this stuff. What's going on?
Yep.
What's going on? Because my guy Marv was out there with a bum ankle the whole time for 2 years straight, going crazy. So I mean, here's my thing. Like I said, I feel like that culture, that whole program was built on sand, and you're watching it fall right between, like, right in front of your eyes in 4K. I caught this preseason, bro. It just is what it is.
Yep. This is what happens when you don't have a scout going to every single game for you, right? I mean, this is how it goes. Tez Johnson did just leave the game, so that's an injury for Oregon, but he was walking off on his own, so we'll see how that goes. But looks like he was going back to the locker room, but like I said, walking off on his own.
They still got Evan Stewart and what's his name? The Spit Boy. That's what I'm gonna call him. I ain't even gonna say his name. Spit Boy.
Yes. There we go. Let's talk about the receivers for a second here, Mike. I mean, obviously the Penn State wide receivers just absolutely horrible. I mean, it is a complete travesty that James Franklin is trotting out this receiving core in the Big Ten. The Big Ten not exactly known for their wide receivers, but I mean, you have to just be ashamed of yourself trotting out this wide receiver core, especially against Ohio State, which did not have a huge day. But like I said, Jeremiah Smith broke the record. Mecca Ibuka had a touchdown catch. Brandon Inniss had a touchdown catch. That was really cool to see. I went back and watched that play. The wide receivers that were in for that play, Mike, Jaden Ballard, Bryson Rogers, I never thought we'd see Brandon Inniss, Bryson Rogers, and Jaden Ballard. I never thought we'd see those three wide receivers by themselves on the field. But hey, you know what? Chip Kelly was like, they're not going to see it coming. And he's right. Because Brandon Inniss catches it.
Facts, bro, because like I tried to tell folks, especially about like the Nebraska game, right? Like what you are seeing is teams was like, hey, JJ is a true freshman, right? You know, we'll worry about Emeka. Well, Then JJ started going off. Then it's like, hey, well, we need to do some bracket stuff on JJ. We'll do this, and then you end up leaving the Mecca open and everything. Now you try to take away those two guys, and then Carnell's open. So like you're starting to see like what teams are doing. Now you go and you put some guys who don't really got much tape out there. What are you thinking? Like, oh, they're probably just running the ball or something. Like, and that's what you've seen. The guys bit. And they went with Trey thinking I think it was like a toss play or something. And the guys end up running right into each other. So, and Brandon Ennis was wide open. So, I mean, masterful by Chip, man. And he was cooking in that game, bro. I just wish that we could have hit some of them vertical routes because, gosh, it would have made the day a whole lot better for the offense.
Would have made the win a whole lot bigger too. Jeremiah Smith, I think he lost it in the sun. I honestly think he would have had it if it wasn't for the sun. Which thanks Fox for the noon game rather than the night game. No sun in the night game. So, and then I think that was just a misfire by Will Howard to Carnell Tate. I was so mad about that one because that one could have been a huge play, but it is what it is. I'll tell you one person who gave me a heart attack in this game, Mike. Jelani Thurman on that drive. Oh my word!
I knew it. But see, here's the thing, man. Here's the thing about Jelani. I don't think Jelani thought that he was getting the ball.
No, I think you're right. Yeah,
I don't think that Jelani was expecting that, But like I was telling my wife when I was yelling and jumping, and I said, this is why you play guys like this. Because no matter what, they're going to make a play. And if you let the guy keep playing, he's going to make plays. And I know I sound like a broken record every week, but just reps. And getting those guys some action and some target, it builds up the confidence. These guys are able to play better. And I'm telling you, you're going to see things come to fruition, man. And I'm happy for Jelani. I'm happy for Jelani, man.
You saw G. Scott go down there for a second. You were wondering if he'd come back or not, but he did eventually come back. I'll be honest, I didn't feel all that scared. When I knew Jelani was there, I thought, okay, this is his time to shine. He can get it done here. Obviously G. Scott, he did well most parts of the game. He did have that drop on third down. I think it was. But I don't think he was going to get the first down anyway.
I'm not sure if I'm remembering that throw right. I just feel like the ball wasn't placed where he had to reach like behind him. So yeah, it's kind of hard for me to put that on him. I mean, still, big time player, you gotta make big time plays. But that's just where I feel like we gotta work on leading guys. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, it was a catch that JJ probably would have made, but like I said, it was so far behind him. I don't even know if he's able to catch that get upfield because of people around him. Ryan here says, I feel like Thurman was cussing the whole time he played hot potato with the pass.
Hey, that's because Ryan probably watches those the videos on YouTube of Bryson Rogers. I don't know if you checked any of those out.
I've not seen those, no.
But yeah, if you check those out, man, you know Jelani, man. You definitely know Jelani.
That's hilarious. John is asking, any more on the Tyreek Williams injury? I've not heard anything. I'm sure there'll be Ryan might get asked about it in the press conference. I didn't even see what happened. They didn't even show it in the broadcast or anything. I didn't see if he walked off on his own. So that might be one. We'll just have to hear what they say and see if there's a replay of it later on. Did you see anything, Mike?
Someone said that he walked off the field slowly with assistance from trainers, and then he went in the medical tent. That was all that I had heard from. But I thought someone had also said that he had went down slowly. So I don't know if it was just something after the play or what, but definitely, keep him in our prayers. Hopefully he gets better and, is next man up and going into Ohio State's next games and things like that, where you have Purdue and Northwestern. I think that those are two great games to go ahead and give that young man some rest, because he's been putting his defensive line on his back. He's been the one consistent force. I will say he does need to work on his gap integrity sometimes. But, Tyleek is that guy, man. And so we definitely hope that he's able to get back to that Indiana game and definitely that Team Up North game. So,
yeah, for sure. And I think, honestly, if you just let Tyleek sit the Purdue and Northwestern game, it wouldn't do anything bad. I mean, if anything, you give more time to Hero Canoe, Caden McDonald, and Jason Moore. Jason Moore was another one we heard a lot of in the offseason. We just haven't seen all that much from, but hopefully if those guys get some more time, it can be beneficial. Hey, real quick, gotta pay the bills really fast. Mark has asked me to tell everybody about the Disputed National Champions book. It is on Amazon. It is by Mark Rogers. Just came out about a month or two ago. You can go buy it on Amazon. Disputed National Champions. It's all about the history of the national championships and who's been disputed, undisputed, stuff like that. It's a really good read. I've read it. I haven't got all the way through it, but I've really enjoyed what I have read. Mark did a really good job, put a lot of hard work into it. This is something that Mark loves to talk about. So if you somebody that wants some good football reading about the history of the 1990s reset and stuff like that, go check out that book. All right, Mike, let's go to coaches here now. I think we covered everything with players on the field. Is there anything else, players on the field, you wanted to cover before we move on to coaches?
Let's see. Players on the
running
field.
Backs. We got Will Howard. Oh my gosh.
Caleb Downs, man. Caleb Downs out there getting active, man. And to be honest, I thought the running back was about to spring for a first down. And what does Caleb Downs do? Get down and dirty, get the ankle, and stop them right in his tracks, man. Caleb Downs just continues to show that he's a force. I also want to say, shout out to Iggy, man. He made two crucial plays in this game. They tried to attack him downfield. Drew Aller was crying to the ref, talking about PI. Honestly, I didn't see that. Maybe Iggy had got there a little bit early, but the wide receiver had a chance to make a play on the ball, and Iggy just smacked the ball out. So, and then also right there on the goal line, after making, a mistake and letting someone get the pass on him, he comes right back, get a key interception in the game. That was a big momentum shift as well. And, Iggy, man, I say they need to keep practicing with the mid zone, because he looks a lot better when he practices with the mid zone. So keep that up.
Yeah.
Iggy.
He was using his body against guys, but it wasn't the normal holding I feel like you see from Iggy. It just felt like physical football out there, where he was making sure these wide receivers knew you're not going to get by me unless you hit me. And so you got to hit me to get by me. And let's be honest, the Penn State wide receivers, they weren't ready for it. These guys, you want to talk about all the narratives around this Ohio State program. Look, I'm not trying to do that to other programs, because I don't try to focus on that. I try to focus on my program. But at the end of the day, all those narratives of soft, complaining about calls, you're not actually playing, you're just more worried about what the other team is doing. That was Penn State today. Penn State was crying about holding. They were crying about this, crying about that. They got stuffed on the goal line. Like, you want to talk about a soft team? You want to talk about a team that wasn't actually there to play and was just hoping the other team would mess up? That was Penn State today. So, yeah, Penn State fans, I'm telling you right now, you're the soft team. It's not Ohio State. Ohio State stopped you on the goal line. Igbinosun was battling with your wide receivers every single time. Am I wrong, Mike? The soft team wasn't
the Buckeye.
The Scarlet and Gray today. The soft team was wearing the navy blue.
Yeah, you get stopped on the 1 yard line. Team comes out, Ohio State offense comes out, runs the QB sneak for 5 to 6 yards.
Yep.
Ohio State wasn't soft. Not only that, they rushed the ball all the way down past the 50. Probably if they wanted to, they could have just kept going and going and going and going and scored again. But they were really nice. Will Howard went ahead and he slid on time.
Yep.
You know what I'm
He
saying?
probably could have had a touchdown there.
He really could have, bro, because I don't think I think by the time the DBs had realized what happened, he was already like about to be past him. Like, I mean, definitely wasn't the soft team. Like, you see multiple situations. What did we see this week in the group messages all on Twitter? Ohio State ranking in one of the bottoms in short yardage conversions, right? Nah. 3rd and 2, get the first down. 3rd and 3, get the first down. And shout out Junkins, bro, because the guy thought he was going to have a tackle on Junkins. He put his dang on pads down, ran like a running back. Boom, pop them right back up. That's the whole point of using your pads. It pops you right back up, boom, and you get some more yards, man. Shout out to the Buckeyes being physical, seeing the yappiness. The guys, like you said, Junkins talking crap, Iggy talking crap. We've been asking, where the dogs at? Where this hungry team at? Where this angry football team that they told us about? I guess they was containing the dogs because they was unleashed for this Penn State game.
Yeah, they were, man. They were. I just, this is one of those games where I was down on the Buckeyes and I was having a hard time. I didn't know if I could believe in them to get everything done. Now, I don't know if I believe in them to win the national championship, if I'm being completely honest, but what's day one saying there? I never want to see Henderson get another short yard. Only QB sneaks. Yeah, I need Will Howard getting the QB sneak with Quinshon Judkins pushing him every time. Put Jelani Thurman back there, let him push him. I don't care. Let somebody push him. But yeah, I mean, I do feel so much better about this team. The fight that we saw, the juice that we saw from players like Carson Hinsman and I mean, Iggy always bringing the juice, but for him to come back, get that interception after he had the penalty and stuff like that, like, I mean, that's just resilient football, right? I mean, you make a mistake, everybody's going to make mistakes, but you come back, you don't let it phase you. You make the next play, and that was huge. That was huge. All right, let's talk, Mike, about Jim Knowles and what he was doing. Mentioned it a little bit earlier. Did you like all the man coverage he was running? Drew Aller was kind of getting away there for a little bit. He was the second leading rusher on this team, but they contained Tyler Warren the entire time. Caleb Downs and Tyler Warren, that was the game plan the whole time. What do you think of Jim Knowles' decision making here?
Yeah, I feel like Jim Knowles is able to run his defense a little bit better, man. You're seeing Sonny Styles coming up on the edge and rushing in on the edge when we're blitzing. You're seeing what I feel like is, especially when we're going and getting pressure and blitzing, it feels like it's the 2022 defense that I've been saying. And to be honest, we've seen a little bit of it in the Nebraska game. Now they come out in this game. And guess what? It looked like the chemistry was better with the defense. The guys were able to know what they were doing, their assignments, and they were doing it a lot better than they did in the Nebraska game, right? So I just feel like all we need to do, let's not make the drastic changes. Keep building on this. I think it was perfect. I think you got to see Jim Knowles being Jim Knowles. And also I think what happened was the rotation. Kenyatta Jackson out there, like, I mean, because everybody
Kenyatta Jackson had a half sack.
Bruh, I mean, and it wasn't just that, like, even getting stops on running plays and stopping the guys 2 yards, and every time he was hitting someone, he was coming with ill intentions, I mean, masterclass by Jim Knowles. I know a lot of people were saying that, the Penn State offense is gimmicky and all of this, but the gimmick's been working against everybody. It didn't get to work against the Buckeyes, so shout out to Jim Knowles, man. What they only scored one touchdown. Like, Will Howard gifted them one.
Yep.
So
yeah. The fourth leading tackler on the team ended up being JT Tuimoloau. He also had a sack, or half a sack, and a tackle for loss and a half as well, leading the team in tackles for loss. This was only a game where you had 2 sacks and 3 tackles for loss, so this wasn't like it was against Nebraska at all. But it was good to see JT Tuimoloau continue to be a game wrecker against Penn State. He didn't have his interception, touchdown type of game, but honestly, that's not what you needed. You needed somebody who was going to stay home and who was going to get the stops and who was going to block the guy in front of him, and that's what he did this entire game. So it might not be the normal flashy game that we see from JT Tuimoloau, but I really like the way that Jim Knowles used him, and I like that he wasn't in for every single play. You saw him being swapped out. There were a lot of plays. You saw JT playing without Jack Sawyer. You saw Jack Sawyer playing without JT. Felt like this week they really listened to what the fan base has been screaming for. We'll have to check the numbers later on, but these guys looked fresh when they were in there.
Say them PFF numbers, man. Wait till the PFF numbers come out, man.
I've been checking. They're not out yet, but I've been checking.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, one thing that just looked elite was when it was JTT and Kenyatta Jackson out there. I'm not gonna lie, it just looked elite. It looked elite. So I do hope that we continue to do that. I don't want this to be a one-off. I want this team to continue to build on it, and hopefully in the Purdue Indiana game, we can go ahead and get our not the Purdue and Indiana game, the Purdue and Northwestern game. We can go ahead and get our starters some rest, bro, because I want these young guys. We're getting into the end of the season. You see the depth is becoming a concern. I want to see the young guys be able to know that, like you said, when G. Scott went down, you knew, hey, I got no concerns, right? I want to be able to feel that way, especially linebackers. I want to see the younger linebackers. I want to see Gabe Powers more. I want to see Arvell Reese, how they out there a little bit more, so.
I agree. Go ahead and bring up Hummus Hero's comment there. Carson Hinsman was like a monster that was unchained. Remember, JR, I had been calling for this. You're right, Hummus. You were calling for it, and honestly, it was a great call. I think they were just so hyper-focused on him playing backup at center in case Seth McLaughlin goes down that they were, just kind of like, let's get Austin Sareveld ready. Which, by the way, I mean, Austin Sareveld, he's been fine. He did really well when he started in place of Donovan Jackson, but you can see that he still needs a little bit more time. Carson Hinsman was definitely the choice by this coaching staff. You basically got 4 guards in there with Seth McLaughlin now, and at the end of the day, this was the best decision, I think. And I like Kenyatta a lot too. Day 1K, he really coming on. Caden Curry, he had a good game too. Only 2 tackles in this one, but still, I felt like you could kind of feel him in there. I mean, this is what we were calling for. This is what we're calling for. Get those guys in there. Let them be fresh, because when these guys are fresh, they're some of the best defensive linemen in the nation, in my mind. Let's switch gears over to the offense really fast and talk about Chip Kelly with his play calling. We talked about it. Ohio State didn't score, they only scored 20 points, but I think a lot of that was more off kind of missed deep balls and Will Howard fumbling the ball into the end zone. Basically the first drive being taken away by the interception for a touchdown. I felt like Ohio State could have scored 30 plus if they put a good game together, but I don't really put the 20 points on Chip Kelly. Like I said, I think Chip Kelly called a really good game. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, Chip Kelly definitely caught a really good game, man. But the playmakers got to make plays, right? Will Howard cannot fumble. That would have been a score of 27 points. If Will Howard hits Carnell Tate in stride, that's another 7 points, right? So it's just, and ain't no telling what I just counted out. 14 points that would have made the score 34-13, right? I mean, these are just things that we got to work on. We got to clean these up, man. It can come back and bite us in the back half, but the way our defense is playing and the second half adjustments, right? Because we was like, hey, we worried about second half adjustments. We haven't been doing well in the second half. I think we were even up in the Oregon game at halftime, right?
Yeah, I think by a score or 2. No, it was like by a field goal or a touchdown, something like that.
So, which in this one we was only up by 4.5. So, I mean, it was like, hey, is this gonna be like the Oregon game? We up at half, they make adjustments. No, we went ahead. They only kicked the field goal in the third, shut them out in the whole fourth quarter, man. I love it, bro. And
exactly.
I mean, like I said, we just got to minimize our mistakes, man. And like you said, JJ, losing the one in the sun, that's another touchdown. I mean, honestly, that was probably the best throw that Will had probably made of the season down the field, hitting the guy in stride too. Like that would have been the best one too. So I wish he didn't lose that in the sun. That's but I thought he was about to one-handed though.
I thought he was too, man. I saw J.J. Smith drop a one-handed catch. I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening? Is the world ending? Like, what in the world? No, but
it's
I mean,
Tuesday.
You just gotta, at that point, you just gotta, give credit to resilience, right? I mean, this is a team that was resilient. They came out. Will Howard made his mistakes, but the team picked him up, and there at the end, he was crucial running the ball on QB sweeps and the threat of the read option, helping his guys be able to run the ball in this game. So, people are going to point out those mistakes. Get ready for it. All week long, people are going to point out those mistakes about Will Howard. I'm not concerned, right? I'm not concerned about Will Howard. I think he's fine. I think that at the end of the day, we were asking him to be too much these past couple of weeks. And when you get the offensive line, fixed, it's not as good as it was, but it's fixed enough. You can run the ball better. And then Will Howard, he doesn't have to keep being Superman or anything like that. We're just going to ask Will Howard to be who he is. And you got the playmakers in the backfield and out there at wide receiver that it's going to be good and it's going to be what you need. If this defense keeps playing this way, you're not going to have Will Howard be anything more than he is because the defense is being who they need to be. What do you think of Will Howard really fast, Mike? I mean, obviously we talked about him a little bit, but just like the criticism of people. I think Troy Smith at one point said something about bringing Julian Sane. I think he was more trying to be funny than anything else.
It wasn't just him.
Yeah.
It wasn't just Troy. It was Braxton Miller. It was Tyvis Powell, I believe. I don't know. It was a lot of people tweeting. I don't know. They must have been in a group chat or something. But I thought that it was
they were like, hey, let's just tweet about Julian Sane for a second and see what happens.
Yeah, I thought that they were just joking. The fact that it was multiple of them just made me think that they was in the group chat and that they were trolling. But what I think about Will, somebody said it perfectly in here. I'm looking for that. Some people are being very critical of Will. He didn't play his best game, but he is unshakable and kept his composure. And that was one thing that I felt like we didn't have, with Kyle, man. Like, he didn't keep his composure. He got down on himself when he made mistakes and things like that, or if the offense just wasn't clicking that time, whereas Will just kept that intensity, kept that fire. So I will give Will respect on that. I just want him to clean up the deep ball, bro. That's my only criticism, bro. Just clean that up, hit guys in stride, and work on that. I don't want to hear that the guys on the jug machines or the Monarch. I want to hear they was doing the old-fashioned wide receiver, quarterback working on it. That's all. That's my only criticism. There's no other thing to be critical about Will. He does exactly what we brought him here to do. So there's nothing for me to be critical about Will.
Right. Well, I think this is the reality of being an Ohio State fan, right? As an Ohio State fan, the game is in hand. You do what you have to do to win the game, but you're always going to be looking to the next big game. You're always going to be looking to the next big moment. You're going to say, is what happened today enough to get it done against Georgia? Is what happened today enough to get it done against Oregon? That kind of stuff. And like my response, especially in this situation, is like, Will Howard was 10 times better, and it wasn't enough against Oregon. And then the defense was 10 times better today, and it was enough. So each game is its own. I totally get that criticism. I'm not dogging people for it because I feel it myself a lot of the times too. But each game is its own. You play the game. You be resilient. You try to do what you can to win. And honestly, like sometimes the ball rolls your way. Sometimes it doesn't. For Ryan Day, seems like it doesn't more often than it does. It kind of sucks, but survive in advance. You make it to the next one. We'll see if it's enough next time.
Facts, man. Big facts.
So, all right, Mike, I don't know how much more we got to talk about here. We went through the coordinators, everything else. It didn't feel like there was really any bad time management by Ryan Day or anything exceptional I'm going to point out or anything. I mean, I think at the end of the day, they had the game pretty well in hand when they had the goal line stop, and the team just needed to do what they needed to do. So, anything else on this game, Mike, before we're done talking about it?
No, man. Nothing on this game. I do want to talk about maybe, they got Purdue coming up and just want to be like I said, just want to see guys being able to work and click on things. But nothing on this game. Just want to come out in the next game and look clean. So that should be the message. Continue to build, continue to be physical, continue to be angry and play a clean game of football.
Yep, totally agree. Totally agree. Sit the guys who need to sit and rest up a little bit. Let them sit against Purdue. Make sure you guys who are enough or who are kind of backups and stuff maybe didn't get as much time in this game, get more time against Purdue. Northwestern. Indiana's going to be a big game. I know we're not used to saying that, but this is a team who is undefeated. Of course, they're losing 10-7 right now to Michigan State, so we'll see if that holds. And then, of course, right now, it looks like they're reviewing Oregon's touchdown, but Oregon has dominated Michigan so far. Michigan it's 7-7 right now, but Michigan only scored because there was a muffed punt by Oregon. So I'm not too concerned about that one. Anything else going around the Big Ten you want to talk about, Mike?
Man, I thought it was. I mean, Ohio State. I think put Penn State out of the Big Ten championship race. So I think right now it's down to Oregon, Indiana, and Ohio State to wrap this up. And if Ohio State continues to win out, they'll get their rematch against Oregon, man, because I think Oregon's going to go ahead and win out as well. So it's right there. It's right there, Buckeye fans, man. Like I said, we just got to build and get cleaner.
Totally agree. Yep. Right now, the only way Penn State makes it is if Ohio State loses to either Indiana or Michigan. Both those teams, though, you should take care of business. Yeah, Hamasira is right. Indiana struggling right now with Sparty. It's still the start of the second half. We'll see. I think this is the first game they've been down. They've been losing, which is kind of crazy to think about. But Georgia only ahead 3-0 on Florida. Iowa State is down. Miami comes out with a win after trailing in the third quarter to Duke. But, yeah, I think that's all I got, Mike, unless you got anything else. I think we can end it here.
Nah, man. Make sure that you following me on Twitter at 216_wildboy. You can also catch me at Best Damn Media on YouTube. And you can also check us out in our Discord, man. My links and everything should be in my bio on my Twitter, man. JR, where can the people find you?
Yep, JR's rankings on Twitter, JRS_rankings on Twitter. You can also catch my Big Ten coverage over on the Big Ten Huddle. We'll be going live tonight for our power rankings. We'll also be going live tomorrow night. Me and Zach will be talking about all the analysis and everything that happened this week in the Big Ten. We talk about every single Big Ten team. So if you ever feel like you want to know more about a certain game or what went on, you can come over and listen to the Big Ten Huddle. We appreciate it. We appreciate you watching, being here. And as always, go Bucks.
OH.
I know.